the PC version of Marvel Contest of Champions. This is something not everybody has access to at the moment, and you can request access if you so choose and add it to your wish list. I do recommend adding it to your wish list because you get notified when it goes into the full release. I still don't know when the time frame is for the release. It would be good to know that, but they're still testing, and that's what we're here to do in this video. It's kind of go a bit further than what I was able to do in my first video, to look a bit deeper into the functionality, the advantages and disadvantages over mobile. Is it something that I'd recommend? How is it going to change the way I record content? So one of the first things is loading time. Loading time and lag is something that is just such an important element of this game, because you can find it just being quite bleh, going from screen to screen. Now, being a non-spending player, I do not have access to the express mode, and apologies, you're going to hear some clicking from time to time. That's something I think if I do content creation, I want to content creation on mobile, that I'd want, not on mobile, on PC, that I'd want to have some sort of noiseless keyboard and noiseless mouse in order to improve the live streaming and video capability, because you don't want to hear all the time that. On the subject of speed and loading, I found that the game actually was quicker on mobile than on PC. I'm going to be running on screen in a moment the footage of comparing both things. Me using an iPad and of course the PC version going between the fights. There are some other variables which do mean that this may not be the best test, as it differs based on device, but here's an arena comparison which was faster on mobile, but depending on the pace to take down some of the enemies, it would have varied on the time. The PC version seemed to have a slower loading screen, going from fight to fight. That may be circumstantial based on, I don't know, loading times at the time, loading times based on this being a beta and not being on the full server. I don't 100% know, but what I do know is at this time when I tested it, one was faster than the other. Mobile had the advantage versus PC. And would you do arena farming on PC? That I think is a no, but we'll come back to that in a minute. The second part that I want to talk about is inputs. Inputs on PC feels substantially different in a good way. So our next bit of footage comparison is around controller. I've always wanted to use controller with the game, but I have found the inputs versus what actually happens to the action and the rate to the action actually being executed is slower. My PS5 controller, which is a good controller, seems to be slightly off in response to input acknowledgement time. On a keyboard, wow, okay, this is where I'm really happy with the response to what I don't think a wireless keyboard could do is, but I think with the response time to execution of the action, there's something there that's better. And I don't want to be in a situation of saying, keyboard players have an advantage or PC keyboard players have an advantage. But what I'd welcome Kabam to do is to improve the mobile experience so that when you put an input in, it's actually registered. And I would say to anybody that's been frustrated with inputs in game up until this point, playing on keyboard is a very different experience. With a larger screen and as well just a better input with a wired keyboard, you can get a better feeling towards this game from putting in that tap, not putting in that tap, but putting in a keyboard press. So I'm not quite sure how I'm going to be titling this video. It might be under something saying, Kabam saved me $1,500. How the heck could they do that? Well, that's by having this on PC. I don't have to buy a new iPad when this goes into full release. One thing that I've been saying to myself is that, well, the device I've got from 2021 is just not working in a way that I like. I'll still use a portable device, whether or not it's an iPhone, whether or not it's an iPad. I will be using these on the go because farming stuff in game, whether or not it's doing side quests, questing in general, playing arena, which I'll have to do as a non-spending player because I want banquet event, I want July 4th, I want other stuff that's going to be benefit. Look, I need to do that from a mobile sense. But this PC that I'm playing off of is from 2018. I've got a brand new PC ready to go, which I can't set up until the new year because I need more equipment. But that's the point. Like, I don't need to get a new fancy device. If I'm using, I've even got limited space. I've probably got like 2 gigabytes free, and I'm still able to run on a 1080p. It's not a 1080p, but it's a 1080. I think it's 1080 Ti graphics card, a GeForce. This game runs fine. It runs very well. It's very responsive. So I don't need to spend money. But that doesn't necessarily give this a pass to say it's going to be compatible for everything. I actually tried to play on laptop and the experience was just not good. And that laptop's a good laptop. That laptop I've taken to New York Comic Con. It's got a good amount of memory, like just perfect for on the go making content. And I've got like Premiere Pro with it, and it seems to like make videos. Yes, it's a bit slower, but it doesn't really run the game as well as I'd like. And maybe that's just down to the fact that most laptops, unless you've got a gaming laptop and have a good graphics card associated with it, aren't going to really run the game that smoothly. So if there's people around the world going, oh, give PC version a try. Well, you might only have a laptop. You might only have a lower than mine type of PC, gaming PC. You might feel that it's not as compatible. And there are recommended specifications, which I think, yes, you'll be able to run the game, but no, you might get a very bad experience. And maybe that's going to come with time when Kabam get this out of the beta to make it more open to a lot more people. Anyway, the joys of having a big screen, like I've got a 4K screen right here, and my recording setup is not set up to be 4K. We're actually putting out 1080p at the moment. That's for the future, that we kind of like we're doing a bit of compression. However, in the future, I want to be more 4K orientated, and the great thing about this is that from a 4K perspective, this screen looks amazing for looking at champions. Having a sort based on you seeing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 by 1, 2, 3, 4, 4, 8, 32. Is that must be 32 champions in one sitting is pretty impressive. So that I like. And of course, getting older, you want to see stuff in larger. So it's good for the people of aging within the community, to put it politely. Unfortunately, though, Kabam do have a bit of a problem with dead spaces around certain parts of the screen. A lot of it in questing, a bit of it on the main screen. There's a lot of this kind of dead space. Whether or not that's something you can work in with settings and just changing your display, there's a possibility. Do you change your resolution down? Again, there's a lot of things that you could be doing as to how this would be, nice, visually speaking. Funny enough, in this moment, I've just changed to 1920 by 1080. I am now going to go back to my 4K. So I'm going to go back to my display and switch that to what I had, which was my normal settings, which is, I think it's 3840. So yeah, for my 4K monitor, now it's kind of gone a lot more clear and crisp, which is how I like to run the game. A perfect illustration of some of the dead space you can see right here on the top and the bottom of the screen. And definitely when you're loading in champions, it'd be nice for them to be just a little bit bigger to occupy a little bit more of this this grey space. Maybe even taking this down here with the express mode and fine match being brought down for certain fights. It's not just here, it's about other places as well. When I like to play at the moment, I'm just doing a lot of mouse clicks for light attacks, just because I find that more easier to do. But maybe it's time to think about mapping. Like changing out some of the configuration to best suit you. I've got a really good amount of ideas of mapping. That will largely come in the new year once the beta is completed and I know what Kabam are going to do with this. Especially as there's a lot of gaming mice, I don't know if that's the right way to say, gaming mouses available that have a lot of buttons. Of course, you've got the scrolling buttons, you've got scroll wheel, and then you've got side buttons as well. You've got a button there, which when I was playing Call of Duty Warzone would be my armor up button, and then two others here, which can be, helping you out, switching between different, ammo or whatever on whatever game you play. But there's more buttons available to centralize a lot of stuff around the mouse. It's just play your way. The same thing could be said with controller, but I'm actually not as interested into controller as I am with keyboard and mouse. So the keyboard and mouse experience is, for me personally, what I recommend. I just don't think controller's there just yet. And I do think that Kabam at some stage should go back to mobile and try to make it better and more compatible. Maybe there's a better way to play on keyboard that's just not going to be seen on mobile for, well, I don't know how long. At least with customizing, you can have a better experience based on the way you want to play, and the response time being high, which is, of course, we've learned is just really good. So the fourth part of this video is devoted to Kabam answering questions of stuff that I've had questions for and I was looking for answers. Looking to improve the integrity of the game is very important, but also keeping up to date with stuff. It's too early to say, will this do damage to the game when it comes to Kabam's extent of management they have to do to make sure the PC version is running as smoothly as the mobile version. If we have a time machine, please somebody go forward in time, find out, and then come back and tell me to get that particular, correct answer. Because at the moment, we don't know, right? They could do this and find that they have burnt themselves out with covering too much. They may have already employed team members to deal with this. They may not have. They may have restructured as per a lot of people that have gone in, say, I don't know, September time. Remember, just before then we had some people leave. Maybe that's what they're doing. They're restructuring the way that this is delivered. Or they may not be. I want to kind of wait and see how this goes. This is a beta at the moment, so things could either go well or not. But they are committed to this. When it comes to cheating, though, that is something that's going to be a highly important thing. I think it improves the credibility having a PC version of this game, because then people are able to enjoy it in a different way that maybe people on mobile have not. It's kind of close to console, but it's not. Will we see a console version? I don't know. I want to say more than likely not, because of the complexities they'd have to do, but it's still good to see that Kabam are willing to make sure things are fairer. There is this whole kind of like, people on PC can have an advantage over those with mobile. In some ways, I can see that happening. If we're talking about inputs being better, then of course a PC player against a mobile player may not experience some of the input issues that I don't have when I play on mobile, but when I'm playing on PC, I find it very responsive. But I'd like the mobile version to be like that. I want everybody to experience that, not just the people that maybe can't afford a PC. And then there's other things, cheating. Kabam have said here, game integrity is our top priority for the PC, and we've started up a number of new technology stacks, anti-cheating strategies like easy anti-cheat and a host of others to clamp down on cheaters. We can't go into details, and that's the thing that I've kind of alluded to. We've seen it. There's evidence out there in the last week that these being employed have been, or kind of being activated and used, are doing some stuff to really hammer in on cheaters and scan things in a way that they haven't seen before. That could be a bad thing as well. Do bear that in mind, that you could see people just be, hit and banned. And that's not good, is it, at all? There's two big questions about, of course, emulators. Kabam have said that if you are using an emulator, it's still against terms of service. If you have a PC and you're playing via BlueStacks or LD Player, why would you wait for the PC version, play on the PC version? Then will PC version be getting features, new features or specific features or exclusive features? No, which, I think I've conceded that particular point from it. I'd like to see skins, but I just don't think that's ever going to be a thing. And maybe that's too much of like a moneymaker for Kabam. But I know some people like the idea of changing character look, others not. So to finish off this video, conclusions, assessment of experience. My experience of playing it was good. It's rough around the edges, but that is what to be expected from a beta. But will this be good for the future? I just don't know. I'm always a positive pessimist, I think that's the word, or a positive realist with it. This could be damaging down the line. If the game performs well, then there needs to be more staff to then improve the way that the PC version works and also cover the area to optimize it a lot more. Is this good for players from a point of view of spending money? Yes, if you buy a PC. This PC is from 2018, so it's been running my content creation, gaming, and can run this game. It's been running for 8 years, and it could probably do 8 more years before breaking down. So at least I don't have to buy a new mobile device. That's a positive. Grindy modes like Arena just don't work. Just doesn't work on PC. Really doesn't. Farming on there just feels like a drag. You want to kind of do things like battlegrounds, alliance wars, questing, so story questing, event questing, side questing, incursions probably could work nicely. And the inputs, that's something that I've really liked. But I'd love that to be on the mobile as well. Mobile experience for everybody. I just don't think that it's going to be the learning curve is going to be the biggest thing. Seeing advantage from a PC player versus a mobile player could be in the way that you experience the game individually. Somebody might say, well, I've got better inputs than you on mobile. Okay. Well, that's still going to take some time for you to learn on PC how to function, and just trying to get into that groove of a decent keyboard and mouse based setup is going to be another key issue for new people. And controller feels clunky. It really does. I think that input versus action is just not as quick. It's not responsive as it should be, and that's something, yeah, I don't know if Kabam plan to rectify in the future. It would be nice. And content creation, that is going to be another thing. Creating videos about the PC version, I'm definitely going to do, but also the extent of crystal openings actually are better on PC than they are on mobile, and maybe that's something I'll transition over to use later on in say January or February. Of course, the big test, as I've said, is going to be next year, 2025. If this launches, which is likely to do in 2025, how many people are going to play it? Is it going to be a small community? Can Kabam grow that community? And what kind of pressures does that put on Kabam as a developer to open this out to people, to do things more? Esports becomes more of a thing. Mobile esports is out there, but it is very specific to certain types of things, like shooters and your what are they called? The top-down 3 versus 3 League of Legends type things. Like those are where the esports shine. You don't really hear about when it comes to like MCOC or fighting games. A lot of that is reserved to consoles and LAN tournaments and stuff like that. So maybe this could be an opportunity to expand out, and but then expanding out can also have its pitfalls. We'll see how next year goes. I really hope you get a chance to test it out at some stage, and let me know your thoughts when you get a chance to play it. That's been a video. That's been some thoughts about PC version expanding a little bit more on the video that I made I think about 2 weeks ago. And yeah, thanks very much for watching. Check out some other content located on screen. I'll see you all in the next video. Bye.